So a couple of ways to look things up in Excel when you're looking for vertical lookup. So right now I've got two sheets, one of which has a series of student IDs and a series of GPAs. Notice I've got two values of student ID 4 and two different GPAs for that, and I'll use that later on. Sheet 2 over here, I have a few IDs I've picked out, and I want to look at particular things, so I'm using vertical lookup here. So vertical lookup, what you do is you put in the value you're looking up on this particular sheet. So A2 is, I want to look up all the things that correspond to 4. And then I want the table range on my original sheet. So a couple things to notice. In order to talk about a particular sheet, you use the name of the sheet, so sheet 1, and an exclamation point, and that now refers to that other worksheet. The other thing you may notice is that I'm using dollar signs here. With dollar signs, what that means is don't change the table as you drag. So normally, if I click here and drag, by default what will happen is it'll add 1 every time I go down. If you don't want it to add 1, like I don't really want it to change the value of the table I'm looking up, you need to use those dollar signs in front of the columns or rows. So whenever you have something you're looking up that's a constant table, you want to use dollar signs in front of the column and in front of the row. And then the same idea with the other end of the table. So this table right here is actually all of this range here. And then once I have my entire table of data, I want to look up a particular column out of that. So this is column 1, column 2. So I'm looking up column 2 out of that. And then finally, I want an exact match, which means false. So number 4, ID 4, is 4.4. ID 6 is 1.3, so on. Notice I didn't use a dollar sign here because when I first did my vertical lookup, I actually want this value to change as I drag down. I actually want it to be A3, A4, A5. So that's why I didn't put dollar signs there. Now, one thing you might notice about this is that on ID number 4, what it did is in vertical lookup is it only gave me back the first value. It didn't give me back that or any addition or subtraction or anything like that. So if you want to do more, so let's say that I want to average these two. There's actually a different command I want besides vertical lookup. And it is called AVERAGEIFS, which I'm not exactly sure what that stands for, but basically what it does is you can do an average using an if statement. So what I have here is, this part here is the range I want to look up. So that's this column here. So all of this is the range I'm looking up. So once again, name of the sheet, exclamation point, dollar signs in front of the formulas, and the whole column. And then the second argument, all of this here, is what is the column I'm looking up corresponding to. So in that case, I'm using ID numbers, so I need to use all of this for my second argument of the AVERAGEIFS. So the column I'm getting back, the column I'm looking up, and the particular argument I'm looking at. So I want to get all the things that average from 4. So indeed, if you do 4.4 plus 1.8, the average is 3.1. So that might be a useful thing to use as well if you're looking for average GPAs. And then same sort of thing all the way down. These all have the same values. If you want a sum, for example, like for whatever reason, there's a SUMIFS, which is exactly the same basically as average, where this is what I'm getting back, this is what the thing I'm trying to match, and this is the particular one I want to use. Hopefully that helps.